Hewlett Packard Enterprise and Savage Technologies presents the 8th edition of Digital Transformation Conclave and Awards, which is in association with the Department of Information and Technology, Government of Assam and AETC. Experts to the Hewlett Packard Enterprise and SaveX presents the 8th edition of Digital Transformation and Awards in association with the Department of Information and Technology, Government of Assam and Ampron. Can we please take our seats? So before we move ahead towards today's star-studded and stellar lineup of speakers and industry experts and the visionary leaders who have not only changed the complete dynamism of the government sector, but are also responsible for making what India has become today. Ladies and gentlemen, India is now the 5th largest economy of the world and only second to China when it comes down to digital payments. We've been reaching new heights where a new unicorn is being born every week, and according to some industry experts, by the end of 2024, we will have a unicorn rising every second day in the industry. We have been able to reach this farthest ends of the country by providing not only the last mile connectivity, but also improving the quality and standards of living for every Indian citizen. All of this has been possible only because of two reasons. India's tremendous transformation and adaptation towards the new technologies, thanks to all the partners who are here. And the second most important factor is the adaptation and the implementation of this digitally transformed systems by the leaders present in the room. It's time that we give a huge round of applause for all the bureaucrats who has actually transformed India at the ground level. So a huge round of applause for all the wonderful leaders, all the IAS officers who have been working relentlessly on the ground to make sure that all these digital transformation is reaching to the last person at the farthest village, and no better place than Guwahati to have this amazing conference. Moving out, Gov Connect, we at Gov Connect have moved down all the way from Srinagar, moved down to Hyderabad, and now we are in Guwahati with the 8th edition of this amazing conference. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Shri Anurag Goyalji, who's the IAS Principal Secretary, Department of Information and Technology, Government of Assam. He will be joining us very shortly by around 11:30. He is in an urgent meeting with the Honorable CM of the state. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to start the Hewlett Packard Enterprise and SaveX presents the 8th Digital Transformation Conclave and Awards. Before we move ahead, I believe it's a customary thing that we have a lamp lighting session, to start off with the conference. Requesting, the man behind this amazing concept, Mr. Fahim Haq, who's the Director of Gov Connect, to please join us. Followed up by Mr. Emerson Murthy, who's the Partner, Government and Public Services Consulting Lead at Deloitte India. A huge round of applause. Can we have some energy going in the house? Shri Swapnil Paul, IAS Director, Department of IT, Electronics and Communication, DITEC, Government of Assam, to please join us. Shri Sundar S, IFS Managing Director, Assam Electronics Development Corporation Limited, Government of Assam. Can we have a huge round of applause, please? Also calling on Mr. Mayank Chaturvedi, who is the Country Manager, Public Sector, Hewlett Packard Enterprise India Private Limited, to please join us. Mr. Saurabh K. Tiwari, IP and TA NFS, Joint Secretary, Direct Benefit Transfer Mission, Government of India. Mr. V. Srinivas, IAS, Secretary, Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, Government of India. Also, from the team of GovConnect, Mr. Raman Mishra, who is heading the Government Alliances for GovConnect, to please join us for the lamp lighting session. Would also request all the distinguished dignitaries to please take the stage. So if you can. Calling on the dais, once again, Shri Swapnil Paulji, Shri Sundar Sir, Mr. NSN Murthy, Mr. Mayank Chaturvedi ji, Saurabh Tiwari Sir, and Shri V. Srinivas. So moving on, we have a welcome address by Mr. Fahim Haq, Director, GovConnect. A huge round of applause for the man behind this wonderful conference.
Very warm and good morning, Srinivas sir, Saurabh sir, Mayank sir, NSN sir, Sundar sir and Swapnil sir, and top government officials from across the country, industry leaders, media friends, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It gives us immense pleasure and we feel honored to have all the thought leaders joining us from across the country and outside for this digital transformation conclave. On behalf of GovConnect team, Department of Information Technology, Antron, and our partners, I welcome you all. Digital Transformation Conclave will witness a high-powered and brainstorming sessions represented by policymakers, government functionaries, thought leaders, industry leaders, think tanks, and academia from across the country. And we feel proud to say that today here at the conclave, we have representation from 18 plus states of the country. The conclave shall focus on creating roadmap with deliverables, partnerships, collaborations amongst the stakeholders from across the sector and segments to achieve the desired output through technology and innovation. Digital Transformation Conclave will offer unique and highly interactive content, connections and conversations. As we all know that this has been a continuous journey on organizing forums on digital transformation with many of you supporting us as our constant force and mentors. Our efforts have been to bring all the key stakeholders on one platform to discuss, brainstorm, and cull out some practical lessons of best practice on various government initiatives, and digital transformation remains the key. During the day, we have around 50 plus speakers from across the country with 5 sessions, some exclusive presentations by industry representatives and policymakers. We at GovConnect would like to thank Shri Anurag sir, Swapnil sir, Sundar sir, and the team for providing us all the support and showing confidence in us to build this mega conclave as the host partner. Thank you all for helping us building such an amazing conclave. Thank you so much.
Can we have a louder round of applause for Mr. Fahima, who has relentlessly worked, I think, for more than 3 months for this amazing conference to take place at the wonderful city of Guwahati. Now, I would like to call on the dais Shri Swapnil Paulji, who is the IAS Director, Department of IT, Electronics and Communication, DITEC, Government of Assam, to please welcome the distinguished audience today. A huge round of applause for Swapnil, sir.
A very good morning to all present here. Respected Secretary Sir, Joint Secretary Sir, all dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. It's a momentous occasion for all of us in Guwahati that we are seeing such a conference being held over here. I would heartily thank the GovConnect team for coming up with this proposal and hosting it here in our city, Guwahati. In the digital arena, India has advanced a lot in the last 1 decade. The world looks at us for initiatives like Aadhaar, UPI, and CoWIN. So catching up with the country, Assam has also advanced quite a bit in the last few years in the digital arena. The foremost amongst which is the implementation of e-office. And today, respected dignitaries, we are proud to say that 100% of the Secretariat in Discord is paperless from the month of October, and we are totally on digital mode as far as the files are concerned. Today, we run one of the largest DBT schemes in the country, where we pay 20 lakh women 1,250 rupees every month. And this scheme, which we call Arunodaya, will be enhanced and expanded to around 27 lakh beneficiaries from the coming financial year. So with that, the total corpus that will be spent for a financial year, entirely end-to-end digitized, will be around 4,000 crore. So that has been possible only because of the technology and the political will, along with the zeal of the officers of our state. And finally, I would like to mention about the RTPS portal, which is the Right to Public Service Act portal of Government of Assam, which provides services, more than 100 services to the grassroots without having any human interface. So, if we see the spate of digitalization, in Assam we are in the 3rd stage. The first stage was to convert the typewriters into computers. The second stage was how to provide the various services digitally. We have crossed the 2 stages. Now we are in the 3rd stage, that is how to authenticate and verify the citizens in online mode. So we have the various concepts like the virtual payment ID or Aadhaar, or now we are going for a system called DIDS, which is based on the single source of truth concept for DBT. So as we go along, we hope that with the rest of the country, Assam will also gain momentum, and we will be also be doyen in the field of artificial intelligence, IoT, blockchain, and all the state-of-the-art technology in the future to come. So I heartily welcome all the dignitaries of Government of India, other states, the industrial partners, and my friends from media to Guwahati. Hope you have a wonderful session and a wonderful stay in Guwahati. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. So I'll be rushing on a humble request. We are, I think, 15 minutes behind schedule, so requesting all the wonderful panelists to please, stick to the time. I think we'll have a timer running very soon on the podium as well. So moving on, I would now call upon Sri Sundar S, IFS Managing Director, Assam Electronics Development Corporation Limited, Government of Assam, to please join us and welcome the distinguished guest today.
Secretary Sir, Joint Secretary Sir, distinguished guests on the dais, off the dais. I am representing the IT department as well as the Managing Director of a state PSU, Assam Electronics Development Corporation, which we refer to as Amtron. First of all, we'd like to, from our side, from Amtron's side, we'd like to thank GovConnect for hosting such an illustrious group of bureaucrats, industry leaders in this great city of Guwahati. Secondly, I'd like to take some stock of how together as a group we can ideate on the next step that needs to be taken to push Assam and India into onwards onto the digital journey. As Mr. Paul had pointed out in his speech just a while ago, we have moved towards digitalization in the government business. And in the private sector as well, Assam is uniquely placed as one of the premier states of Northeast India with a highly skilled manpower. Most of our manpower unfortunately finds its way into the elite organizations here in places like Bangalore, Hyderabad, Delhi. So the initiative of the government as well as the push to the private sector or the idea that we want the private sector to increase its investment, the scale of investment in the Northeast, so as to tap the potential of the manpower here. And the fact that this investment could really lead to a transformation of this whole region into an oft-said tea and tourism kind of a focus to making it part of the IT map of the country. I hope and pray that in this conference we'll ideate on these aspects, on how to ensure that employment opportunities in this sector, which can be hyper-scaled on a very massive scale, it's happening all over the world, and that this place can enjoy the benefits of deep tech in the times to come. With this, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I wish everyone a great stay here in Guwahati. Thank you.
Can we have a louder round of applause? I think nothing can be farther than to what Sir had just said. Just a very quick announcement to all the delegates who are here. Please do not go anywhere till the end of the day. We have some amazing lucky draws that we are giving away, some amazing token of appreciations, some products from Apple, Samsung to be won on this amazing day today. So please do not go anywhere and wait for the lucky draws to come. Moving on, I would now like to welcome our first keynote address by Mr. NSN Murthy, who is the partner, Government and Public Services Consulting Leader, Deloitte India, to please address the audience. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So in fact, I was telling Fahim that every time you put me on the last and everyone speaks everything and I have to only do the aggregation. So this time I want to be the first one. Just joking, Fahim. Thank you for having me here. And I welcome all the dignitaries on the panel as well as everyone here. Just to put a context, and I'm not going to talk about numbers, but just a directional view of the workshop and the day forward. And I'm going to quote few of the sentences from our Prime Minister's recent discussion during the G20. He said, the India's pivot towards growth is based on the digital transformation, digital governance. And the decade which is going to be here is completely built on how India will build those platforms or digital public goods, which will be given across the globe. So there were times when we were actually the software export house across the globe. So we were known as the people who will actually put all the coding and software and everything and ship people to US, Canada or Japan or every place. So we have Indians across the globe who are actually doing all this work. Now we have we have reached a situation where we will build assets, platforms, technology, and it's not just something we have to do it. We've already crossed a lot of bridge here, so whether it is a UPI, Aadhaar, or a Digit or a ONDC today, which is growing very fast. So the entire theme is now towards how do I use digital for improving a better citizen service delivery and the governance. So if I actually look at only these two, and then the whole day when you actually have the panels and the interaction, my suggestion to my industry colleagues is see where you can actually focus on the digital using and then creating an outcomes, a better impact and outcomes. And then the process can be simplified. I'll take few examples. And I'm going to take my kids' example. I have twins and both of them are in third standard. And my son comes one day and says, I don't want to write. And his handwriting is terrible than even a doctor. So I can't even read. So my handwriting is terrible, his is even more terrible. So I can't even read what he's writing. So he said, I don't want to write. Why should I write? Because you are always on the computer, laptop, iPad and the mobile. Why are you not giving this to me? So this actually struck me. The kids of today are being taught everything on paper, whereas they have to do everything on digital. Right? So the world is changing. So that's where the governance needs to change. So you have a new citizen who's going to be cloud. It's not cloud native. He's actually digital born. He actually gets a digital book rather than a written book. So how do you service those people? How do you actually go into the market, create those processes which will enable them to get everything what they want and where they want and how they want. So that's how it's going. And it needs to be more intuitive. People don't need to wait for a birth certificate to come when after a hospital approves it and the process work. It should automatically move to the DigiLocker. As soon as you actually do 1, 2, 3 process, the DigiLocker should get updated with the birth certificate. So how do we create much more intuitive experience? That's my second. First was on the digital cloud native born citizens. Second is how do you create experience? And digital is a great place to create that experience. Digital is extremely good to help you navigate those processes. And I was actually having a conversation with one of my colleagues she's a founder of one of the hottest startups in India. And she's named as a 40 under 40 woman leader. So we were debating upon whether a process improvement is important or whether an outcome is important. So debate is, because we have been always talking about how do we create process improvements, process efficiencies and all those things. I said, why do you want to even look at a process improvement? When we are thinking about an outcome, let the process being defined or redefined by an outcome, and that outcome will be dynamic. Today, a person who's driving on the road might not be able to drive because there is going to be drones which are going to airlift. So start looking at outcomes, which is a point A to point B transfer of a person. So that's where the digital comes into motion, where outcome-driven models will come into play, digital improving upon that, and experience helping you to reach that. The last one, and I'm not going to bore you too much, is while we do all these beautiful stuff, and industry will give presentations as consultants, we will also tell you the technology trends and stuff. But where is the capacity? How do you actually improve the capacities of the people who are supposed to approve it? Think about it, define it from a policy to program to kind of a ground level implementation. That's the other important element. How do I actually immerse the government officials into a digital mindset? That's one big challenge, and I think I am leaving this because Srinivas Garu is on the podium and he can actually talk about it. How do we create digital mindset within the government? Think not about a paper, think not about a process, but think about an outcome which will continue to be dynamic. So those are the few thoughts. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I'll be available throughout the day. I think a couple of sessions are very interesting. I'm going to be part of that also, and see you there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay. Requesting, I can see a lot of delegates who are there. Can you please join us? There are a lot of seats that are vacant. Ma'am, if you can please take up your seats there. And I also request the event team to please make sure that we have enough chairs at the back. Moving on, it was so aptly put, sir, that the transformation has been successful and improving the capacity also is really important. Moving on to the next keynote address by Mr. Mayank Chaturvedi, who is the Country Manager, Public Sector, Hewlett Packard Enterprise India Private Limited. A huge round of applause. And I would like to thank Hewlett Packard for being the support that you are for this amazing conference.
Namaste everyone. Well, happy to be here in front of all of you and seeing you all face to face. An absolute pleasure to be in this room along with such dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. Thanks GovConnect for giving us an opportunity and inviting HP in this event. Well, world is fast becoming digital, and hence the theme of the event is really apt. We all are living in a digital economy, and we are seeing digital acceleration everywhere around us. We all know that world has changed, and with it, so have we. As a matter of fact, this pandemic was a catalyst which accelerated this digital transformation, fundamentally resetting and redefining how government, societies, and enterprises should work together to achieve a common goals. Today, public sector and private sector companies are not competing with each other, and in fact they should not. We're seeing them today as strategic partners in moving the humanity forward. We all have a tremendous opportunity to drive adoption of new emerging technologies. What was future earlier is reality today, with immense opportunities in front of us than ever before. Good morning everyone, my name is Mayank Chaturvedi and I head Public Sector Sales at HP India. I have a small presentation which is what I'll use as a guiding thing for whatever I want to discuss today. And I want to start by sharing with you all what all is happening across the world on digital front. In this digital economy, connectivity is an absolute necessity. And data is the new currency, all of us know. But data alone is not good enough. We also need to focus on digitizing workflows, driving efficiencies, and making sure that data is available in an effective and efficient way so that meaningful insights can be given to the decision makers. Think about it for a moment. These insights can create innovation which have the immense power to advance the way we live and work. And I'll give you some examples. We can reinvent healthcare for increasing people's life by giving them more years of healthy and productive living. We can explore space in new ways. When NASA sent space-borne computer into international space stations, which is doing trillions of transactions to do edge analytics at space. We can return to the moon, we can go to the Mars. We can harness the power of wind turbines. We can analyze ocean's natural cycle to unlock the unlimited potential it has of the renewable energy. And you see that example, Carnegie Clear Energy, is an Australian company who's doing research on the ocean energy. And it said that the amount of energy available on the shores of ocean is 6 times higher than what we are consuming today. We can power real-time decisions for making fully autonomous driving safer than ever before. Zenseact, another company who's into autonomous driving, is actually running thousands of simulations, and they are running about 10,000 safety simulations every second to make autonomous driving safer. And these were just few examples of the future which people across the world are making possible. And by the way, these all examples which I gave were HP customers who use HP technology to shape their future. So the point what I'm trying to drive and establish is the fact that digital is inevitable, or becoming digital is inevitable. Because it's going to play a role in each and every facet of our lives in the time to come. So it's important that we should understand what are the challenges associated with becoming digital, and we'll discuss that. But before I do that, let me share an unfortunate and bitter truth with you all, which is about digital investments across the globe. The reality which is not known to many people is that despite major investments on digital transformation, most of the companies are falling behind. And about $270 billion has been spent on cloud. But still, things are going slow, and more than 70% companies are underperforming. And the problem what we are seeing in the industry is that there is a transformation divide, which unfortunately is widening. While there are sprinters who have sprinted ahead, about 2/3 of the CEOs feel that they are lagging behind. And those who have sprinted ahead have actually got double or 3 times the growth. So it's important to understand what these winners are doing differently as against the underperformers. We looked at the data provided by a top analyst to see and understand the growth levers of these winners. And we could easily make out that these winners based their transformation strategy on some realizations, which are, they realized that customer experience is the key. They realized that they need to expand on the streams of services. They realized that data is everywhere and can fuel innovation. And lastly, they realized that speed is a currency. If you carefully see all these realizations, the food for strategy for these winners was actually the knowledge ware, which comes from the legacy data and also the data being generated in real time. Yeah, that's how true is that. Data is going to be the fulcrum of all innovations and transformations in the time to come. But there is a problem of managing this data. Because this data is erupting and eroding from everywhere. It is erupting from the edge, it is erupting in the data center, and it is erupting at the cloud. Just have a look at these facts. As we accelerate to a massively distributed world, 70% of data will be created outside the public cloud, of which 50% of the data will be created at the edge. And that's the reason you're seeing a massive digital transformation effort happening at the edge. Going beyond, by 2025, the world would see about 150 billion connected devices, generating 175 zettabytes of data, of which 30% data will need a real-time processing. And for managing complexity at this scale, you need a single platform spanning across the edge to data center to cloud, which can manage your data. But your problem doesn't end there. We have a bigger problem. The problem of analyzing this data, because if not able to analyze the data, you won't be able to derive meaningful insights from it. Again, the stats suggest that best of the companies in the world are not able to analyze more than 6% of the data of the total data what they generate. So it's important that we need to have a platform which can actually not only help to manage your data, but also help you to analyze it smoothly. And what is a platform? Platform is a foundation which helps you to run your application smoothly and at the same time handle, manage and analyze your data. You would have seen Aryog Setu app, you've seen Facebook, all of these are platforms which are helping you. HP is precisely doing it, wherein we are building a platform which will help you to manage and analyze your data efficiently and effectively. There is another aspect of a hybrid environment. World today is hybrid, but the public cloud is not everywhere. Only 30% of the apps today are on public cloud. The remaining 70% are outside of public cloud, and cloud has its own merit, and ideally it should also be extended to the 70% of the applications which currently are not agile. Cloud, as you know, is a vehicle to accelerate the speed and agility, but it's not the ultimate destination. It's actually an experience. So how to bring this cloud experience on the 70% of the applications which do not have? With HP GreenLake platform, we are bringing that cloud to you, wherever you are, and wherever your apps and data live. And with the emergence of 5G in the time to come, this GreenLake cloud can be extended to the data where it's being created. And it's simple maths. It's more economical to bring cloud to your data rather than you sending your data to the cloud. Also, when you move data out from your data center, you get into the issues of data compliance, data sovereignty, and so on and so forth. So it's always better and safer and economical to bring that cloud to the data wherever it's being created. And as your data needs more and more real-time processing, you can extend this cloud to your multiple edges. And those edges could be in your state capital office, could be in your district office, could be in village office, or wherever else your workload needs to run. We are often asked a question: which workload should move to public cloud and what should remain on on-premise? Actually, that's the wrong question. A better question is how to bring a consistent cloud operating model across your applications and workload. And to do that, you need to first modernize your data, followed by having right architectures at the edge, data center and cloud. And lastly, by having a platform which is built specifically for a massively distributed enterprise. Today, with HP GreenLake, we are offering some 70 unique services, and which ranges from compute, storage, backup, and everything which is there in front of you. Today, we have 65,000 customers across the globe, and about 120,000 users who are consuming services under the GreenLake umbrella. And 80 out of top 100 customers of ours worldwide are actually GreenLake customers. Lastly, just want to tell you that what have been our recent acquisitions in the last 4 to 5 years. These acquisitions were intended to build our strength and capabilities on building a next generation platform. And I'll quickly go through some of them. Cloud Cruiser is a cloud consumption analytics software which helps you to manage and optimize your public, private, and hybrid cloud usage. Red Pixie and CTP cloud technology partners are into cloud consulting, and they will help you to tell which workloads are better suited to run on which type of cloud. With Nimble acquisition, we acquired an AI-powered InfoSight software which helps environment in self-resiliency, improving the self-resiliency, and it is currently powering a lot of HP systems. You would have used a lot of HP products, hardware and all, but that's not the direction what we have taken. That's all an underlying technology, and we are offering everything as a service under the GreenLake umbrella. Before I end, I just want to run one video. Can I just have the video, please?
Tremendous value. But when you're operating across data centers, co-locations, edges, and clouds, extracting value from massive distributed data sets is challenging. To stay competitive, you need to simplify data management and application development across hybrid cloud environments. while keeping costs under control. Hewlett-Packard Enterprise brings a secure, automated, flexible, and scalable consumption-based cloud experience to your entire hybrid estate, including legacy and cloud-native apps for your most demanding workloads. You can scale to exabytes and optimize data placement with AI-driven, intent-based provisioning. Adopting AI can accelerate data-driven insights. Hewlett-Packard Enterprise automates and streamlines AI with machine learning operations delivered as a cloud experience, so you can seamlessly scale applications to production and act on data quickly. A cloud that comes to you increases IT efficiency, helping reduce costs, energy consumption, and carbon emissions. And you can recover residual value from IT assets while minimizing e-waste. Learn how Hewlett-Packard Enterprise helps you create your cloud your way to make the most of your data for actionable insights everywhere.
Thank you very much. So to end, I would want to say that we all today have a huge responsibility and also opportunity to take our respective organizations into a digital world. HP has the right capability, right vision, right strategy to work with you all in this endeavor. Thank you all very much. Appreciate your patient hearing.
Thank you so much, sir. Such a wonderful presentation. Can we have a louder round of applause for Mr. Mayan? I think when we talk about digital transformation, one department have been, really a pinnacle of, being the flag bearer of digital transformation. Calling on for our next keynote address, it's by Mr. Saurabh K. Tiwari, IB and TNFS, Joint Secretary, Direct Benefit Transformation, Government of India. Direct Benefit Transformation, I think, has been one of the most significant changes where we have removed the complete middleman from, the complete procedure of anything that we have implemented for. A huge round of applause for Mr. Saurabh K. Tiwari. Sir, please welcome and please guide us for this amazing session.
Respected Srinivas sir, Murthy ji, Mr. Chaturvedi, Mr. Fahim, Swapnil ji, Sundar ji, the learned audience, very good morning to all of you. On the occasion of this digital transformation conclave, I was wondering how do we marry the two concepts, digital and governance. And the first thing that came to my mind that when I joined government service, my trainer told me that forget whatever you have learned. If you don't know computers, you would be illiterate in the times to come. And the vision of that guru still is with me, and I can very well relate that had I not heeded his advice, I would not be here before you today. Today I am going to talk to you about how the digital transformation has touched the lives of those who are at the end of the ladder through the direct benefit transfer program of the Government of India, and being a federal state, of so many other state governments also, and some of them are like role models for us also in the central government. So I will be brief and try to take you through the presentation that I have on this subject. So what is direct benefit transfer? So it is a significant governance reform, and the reform is aimed towards public service delivery. The way we see government today, till the very near past in terms of history, government was not seen in the same way. It was thought as a divine right of governance, where it was thought that it is God's will that the king should rule us, At some points of time in history, it was seen as a necessary evil. It is only very recently that government is seen as a welfare state, as a good, where it's the government's responsibility to look into the requirements of its citizens, and particularly the requirements of their old age, the requirement of their health, the requirement of their poverty, and address those issues. So in order to do this and to ensure efficient transfer efficient, transparent and targeted delivery of government benefits, the direct benefit transfer was thought of as a model. And why direct? Because it was to targeted and identified beneficiaries, and the benefits could either be in cash or in kind, and the transfers were most importantly through an electronic means and through Aadhaar authenticated mechanisms. In cash transfers, we have very important schemes like Manrega, Pahal, PM Kisan, scholarship schemes, etc. Usually when we think of DBT, we just think of cash transfers. We don't think of in-kind transfers, but some of the biggest DBT schemes in terms of outlay are in-kind schemes, and two of them I would like to give as an illustration. One is the public distribution system, whereby food subsidy is given, and the second one is fertilizer. The current outlay for these two schemes is to the tune of 3.5 lakh crores and 2 lakh crores respectively. So the journey has been like, initially it was just in a few districts, 40 odd districts with around 2 dozen schemes, and today we have 300 central government and more than 2,000 state government schemes which are running on the DBT model. And these are the schemes which we have on our portal. I am sure that there are many state schemes especially who are actually DBT, but we are unable to count them as of now. So what is direct benefit transfer? I have already shown you. I will just give you some salient features, how DBT as it is running is, and then we will go later on what our plans are, how we want to use the digital tools that we have in order to make it more efficient and effective. So the first problem that we had was to identify the beneficiary, to authenticate the beneficiary, and to deduplicate the beneficiary. And for that purpose, Aadhaar as a digital means was created, and Aadhaar is a digital identity. When we have our paper or plastic Aadhaar cards, they don't mean much in real terms, because you can download it at any time, anywhere through your M-Aadhaar or other platforms. What is important is the digital identity that has been created on account of Aadhaar, as we will see in the later slides. The next important thing was to ensure that the benefit is transferred in an electronic mode, in a digital mode to the beneficiary. And for that also Aadhaar plays a very important role, as we'll see in the subsequent slide. And it is not only electronic, it is also an authentication means. And finally, even if we put the money into the bank accounts of the poor, how are they going to get the cash? How are they going to use it digitally? That would be the next important issue. We have seen there was Swapnil talking about some of the outlays which have been in the schemes in Assam. When we talk of the central government, and here I am talking of central and centrally sponsored schemes only, we have transferred more than 25 lakh crores of rupees since 2013-14 in DBT, and the number of transactions to the beneficiaries which are non-unique is also steadily rising, and it was to the tune of around 170 crores in the last 2 financial years, and this year also it's steadily rising. Now, what have we achieved
using DBT, we have been able to accurately identify and target the beneficiaries. We have been able to ensure greater inclusion in availing of government services through online applications. Online applications is also a key, both in terms of digital transformation as well as in terms of making citizen-friendly service available, which is available 24/7/365. The physical and psychological barriers of going to government offices is removed if we give our services online. Then transparency is another very important achievement of direct benefit transfer. Many of my previous speakers have just also emphasized on how it curbs leakages in the delivery process through elimination of middlemen and agents. It ensures greater accountability on the part of the government. It facilitates reforms in government process re-engineering, and sometimes it's very surprising. Small things like nudging, etc., go a long way in getting the government systems running properly, and in the end, it all leads to efficiency and effectiveness of the government programs. Now, what are the key enablers of DBT? So, the payments and benefit delivery through financial inclusion is one of the keys, and we have opened a large number of bank accounts in order to ensure financial inclusion. In the Jan Dhan account, which was a big drive for this purpose, we opened around 40 crore Jan Dhan accounts only. Role of Aadhaar in DBT is pivotal because it is the identifier also, and it is the authenticator also, and it is a deduplicator also, it is a financial address also, and it is an address through which you can have cash out also through convenient means, as we will see later. And the third important pillar is the mobile, which all three together are called the JAM Trinity. Financial inclusion has been achieved in India, and if you see this graph, India's performance has improved steadily. In fact, it is the most improved one. And if you leave the developed world, in the developing world, India is one of the leaders. And the DBT program of India has won acclaim by very renowned global institutions like the World Bank and IMF also recently, especially how we worked during the pandemic. Now, what are the key innovations and initiatives that we have taken in this regard? We have banking infrastructure, which is comprises of more than 1,20,000 bank branches, 2,40,000 ATMs, 4 lakh micro ATMs where you have banking correspondents carrying POS devices and serving as banking touch points which are mobile. You have a Jan Dhan Darshak mobile app which maps all the financial touch points, and it has more than 6 lakh touch points as of now. Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana I have just discussed, and then PFMS is the digital link between the government departments and the banking system. We also have innovations like the National Automated Clearing House. We have Aadhaar enabled payments, UPIs you all know. We have QR based systems which even is used in the day-to-day grocery and even for procurement of vegetables, etc. So that is something which we are all proud of. And then we have existing infrastructure of post offices and which are used for this purpose. We have Gramin Dak Sevaks, we have more than 4,50,000 CSCs which provide assisted mode service to the citizens. This is how the typical DBT flows are. Because of paucity of time, I won't spend much time on these slides. We use DBT codes in order to ensure that the the transactions which are with a DBT flag, they are processed and facilitated without hurdles in the banking ecosystem. As I have said, the Aadhaar is pivotal in the DBT system, and it is used for identification, it is used for payments, and it is used for accessing funds. How does it authenticate? There are so many means. We have some biometric authentications like fingerprint, face, and iris. We have mobile being used as an authenticator through OTP. We have demographic authentication where just the demographics are matched, and all this goes to the UIDI central depository, and once you get a yes/no response, you know that the person is the same to whom who has given an application for delivery of benefits. What are the benefits of Aadhaar authentication? Of course, it is a digital identity and it authenticates in real time. So it's very cost effective also and time effective also. Other means it would have been very difficult, and because we have a database of around 135 crore Aadhaar number issues, the deduplication is also very effective because every number is unique, and once you have a database of 135 crores which no other database has, the deduplication process is to that extent one of the best, not only in India but also globally. Now, how does Aadhaar act as a financial address? There is an NPCI mapper on which Aadhaar number is linked to a bank account, and once you have the Aadhaar number of the person and the bank account is linked on the NPCI mapper, only using the Aadhaar you can transfer money, especially when you are using DBT. Then there is Aadhaar, which is also used for withdrawing money, and here again the Aadhaar mapper is used in order to ensure that money is transferred using electronic means, and those who are in the hinterland of the country, they are able to access their funds also using Aadhaar. This is a diagrammatic, this is a flow chart where you can see how Aadhaar withdrawals take place using AEPS and NPCI switch. So not only this, we also aim to digitize all the government schemes, which we call end-to-end digitization, which gives citizen convenience and also makes the whole governance framework corruption-free, and the middlemen are also taken care of. We have mobile-based apps also, and the foremost amongst them is Umang, which is like an app of apps. And once you have downloaded Umang, you don't need to download so many apps. Like Swapnil was mentioning, they have, say, some income scheme, then we could have some PM Kisan, someone would have been getting a scholarship. So all those you don't need to, all the apps you don't need to download. Once you have downloaded Umang, you can have all the apps in one go. And this Umang is also available in the assisted mode, because those who don't have smartphones, they can go to the CSCs, which are more than 4.5 lakhs currently throughout the country, and avail the services. These are some of the apps which are available on Umang. And lastly, what we want to do from where we are, so we are working on systems where not only we use Aadhaar as a authenticator, as an identifier, as a deduplicator, but also use Aadhaar for determination and verification of eligibility. Most government schemes should have some eligibility criteria, and you need some documentation to be provided in order to ensure that the benefit goes to the eligible person. Now, what can happen is that when you have paper-based systems, you can have fake eligibility certificates being submitted. You would have very great difficulty in verifying these documents in a cost-effective and timely manner, which would ultimately delay the whole process of service delivery. So, if we can use Aadhaar as the thread which runs through the benefit database also and the certification database also, then we can easily pick up those documents from the respective databases and not only have documents which are easily picked up, just like it was mentioned by the previous speaker, that as soon as there is a birth, it should come to the DigiLocker. So a similar system should be in place that if I have the Aadhaar number, I can pull out the relevant documents from those systems. So for that purpose, Government of India along with the states is planning an ecosystem whereby the states are being encouraged to digitize all these records where certificates are required and also seed them with Aadhaar. And for that purpose, the central government is giving a capital loan for 50 years, which is interest-free to the tune of 2,000 crores. And lastly, we also would like to have something which is called a social registry, where instead of the citizen applying, it is the social registry itself, which is a database of the citizens, which suo moto ensures that these are the probable citizens who are entitled to a scheme, and we reach out to the citizens instead of the citizens coming to us. So with this, I thank you all for the patient hearing.
Can we have a louder round of applause, please? And thank you so much, sir. As I said, DBT has been a single most differential factor that we have seen in the recent times. Moving on to our next, keynote address by Mr. V. Srinivas, IAS Secretary, Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, Government of India. Sir, please join us on the stage. Just one humble request. We are already running almost half an hour late, so if we stick to the timing, it will be, So can we have the presentation, sir?
So very good morning to all. Congratulations to Government of Assam for organizing this massive conference today. In fact, in 2019, we had done the National E-Governance Conference at Shillong, and it was a fantastic conference. My mind was going back to the work done by Rebecca Suchiang as Additional Chief Secretary in charge of personnel and administrative reforms in that period. Well, we have a presentation for you. If you have the time, I'll run through it. Otherwise, it can be circulated to all members. The theme of the conference is quite strong in terms of digital transformation. And when you see the subject of maximum governance, minimum government, what does it need? It needs a digitally empowered nation, a digitally empowered citizen, and a digitally transformed institution. How do you create a digitally transformed institution? It will require massive secretariat reforms. We did hear that Assam has adopted e-office. You need to have government conducting these massive campaigns, which are again on digital platforms, benchmark governance, redressal of public grievances online, recognizing meritocracy. Today you have awards being distributed, and to ensure an overall digital transformation of institutions. This is the broad objective. Let me take up a few thrust areas. The CP Grams, of course, has been a system which many of us have worked for years, but it has undergone massive reform. And the reform is a 10-pronged reform that is seen in terms of having a one nation, one grievance portal, because there's been an exponential outreach of citizens to reach out to government to redress grievances. Use of artificial intelligence and machine learning, dedicated feedback call centers, language translation, common service center facilitation, also enhancements in terms of flagging of urgent grievances, monitoring dashboards, having a grievance redressal index, capacity building for almost 50,000-60,000 officers online, and has been a new outreach in terms of citizen welfare. One of the big changes is CPGram 7.0, when the grievance lands at the last mile. What does digital transformation entail? And as I've been associated with the AIMS digital transformation, thereafter with the Board of Revenue of Radissan's transformation, now work on these two very large platforms of CPGrams and e-office across India. It means delivering results real time and ensuring that grievances are redressed on time, and also in terms of e-office, ensuring that the files move interministerial transfers are on time. And as you can see, in terms of the grievances redressed, we started with something like 10 lakh grievances, and today almost 25 lakh grievances are being addressed. And as you can see, the number of grievance officers has gone up manifold. There is a rapid reduction in grievance redressal time, and perhaps in the next 6 months we are looking at 15 days grievance redressal time being given. It's important to document reform, and personal experiences need to be documented, data needs to be documented and analyzed, and this can be done through multiple monthly reports, dedicated feedback call centers so that citizen satisfaction is monitored, and availability of technology at the doorstep. So there is a need to bridge the gap between the internet rich and the internet poor, and that kind of bridging can be done through the common service centers. 5.38 lakh common service centers currently provide Aadhaar, currently provide CPGrams, and we have the efforts for recognizing meritocracy. This has been done through the Prime Minister's Awards for Excellence in Public Administration. In fact, there is an officer from Assam also on this picture, which was taken on April 21, 2022, in terms of district collectors who performed outstanding work. This year's PM's Awards cover a series of areas, including digital innovations. Thousands of nominations have been received. And there is another set of awards at the national level, which is the National eGov Awards. And these were just conferred at Katra on 26th of November. And these are photographs of the national conferences that are held on an annual basis. I'm glad to see the government of Assam's initiative of a regional conference is so highly successful, attracting so many talents across India. We also need a digital transformation. For example, when you look at a state secretariat, it would need huge backing up in terms of legal reforms. And the Central Secretariat Manual of Office Procedure was revamped to ensure that all officers up to deputy secretaries are given virtual private networks. Also, undersecretaries are issued laptops, section officers are issued digital signature certificates. So the march towards creation of a digital secretariat or a digital collectorate needs to be backed by a significant reform measure in terms of the rule-making process. Also, faster decision-making necessitates a digital transformation of an institution. So these are some of the steps that the Government of India has taken in terms of digitization of offices, digitization of central registration units, adoption of e-office 7.0, delegation of financial powers, adoption of desk office system, delayering where files don't move more than 4 levels, and use of e-office analytics. Adoption of e-office alone isn't enough. It needs to adopt analytics to understand where blockages exist. So this is in terms of how the Central Secretariat has adopted reform, 61 ministries on e-office 7.0. Every time a file moves beyond the prescribed levels of delayering, red flags go up. In terms of delayering, not more than 4 levels every time a file moves. And if it goes beyond that, the red flag goes up. Then delegation of financial powers has been reviewed. Desk officer system necessitates decision making at the last level. Central registration units ensure that physical dark is totally eliminated. Everything operates on digital dark. Many of us work on special campaigns. We've done this special campaign in Government of India for institutionalizing Swachhata and minimizing pendency in government. 101,000 office sites were taken up. How do you coordinate sitting in Delhi a campaign on a pan-India basis? Revenue earned from merely freeing up office scrap was 370 crores. Strong digital portals enable you to identify, monitor logs when ensure systemic efficiency. So this was the spread of the campaign. When you operate a strong digital portal backed by social analytics, the outreach can be phenomenal. 67,000 media tweets that were issued had impression numbers of more than 4 billion and 9 lakh positive engagements. So this was the quantum of outreach that could be seen in a G2G campaign. This campaign on a digital portal sitting in Delhi, we could monitor the work undertaken on a pan-India basis. Best practices could be identified, and these are before-after scenarios. We all work in office spaces, and we'd like to have transformed office spaces in which we work. A series of best practices that came up. In fact, there was one of these vertical gardens in terms of office enhancement, tribal practices for eco-friendly tradition was taken up. And the next one is with regard to benchmarking governance, and we bring out two publications. One is the Good Governance Index and the other is the National E-Services Delivery Assessment. The Good Governance Index pictures various states in terms of quality of governance, and you find Assam listed quite highly in terms of northeastern states in the GGI 2021 report. Agriculture sector, once again, Assam does well. Commerce and industry too, they're doing well. Human resource development is again a top performer. Economic governance, they seem to be doing well. And citizen-centric governance, where the interface between the citizen and government is sought to be brought down. Assam seems to be doing quite strongly in terms of the northeastern states. The race to integrate and compete with the rest of India, that is where challenges remain. The other one is in terms of the National E-Services Delivery Assessment. Here the objective is to ensure that not only the mandatory services are delivered online, but also to ensure that the optional services, which number about 800, are fully saturated. So I think the next target in pursuance of this conference should be to take up and ensure that all the 56 mandatory services are ensured, and the portals that are created are accessible, content is available, ease of use, information security is maintained. So the adoption of e-office has been referred to, and it's quite a game changer to see paperless offices being adopted across the length and breadth of the country. In fact, we did pursue a vision of having a fully paperless state secretariats of Northeast by 2024, and I think most of the states I saw in Manipur, Meghalaya, Sikkim, many states have adopted e-office, and the reform has been phenomenal. In fact, one of the big success stories is Jammu Kashmir adopting e-office, and their Darbar movement was abolished because both secretariats could be simultaneously operationalized, one in Jammu and one in Srinagar. We also celebrate the Good Governance Week, which is from 19th of December this year, and the objective is to ensure that multiple portals function in unison. The Civil Services Day once again recognizes outstanding meritocracy, particularly in areas of digital governance. Vision India 2047 with regard to envisages a digitally transformed nation and digitally transformed institution with majority of services being delivered online. The focus is on young civil servants who will be participating in policy making levels by 2047, and the objective is deepening secretariat reforms, special campaigns which are totally innovatively driven so that the last mile citizen can be reached, redressal of public grievances, and improving service delivery. We've had this massive collaboration with IIT Madras in which enabled formulation of a concept paper with regard to how Vision India 2047 with focus on young civil servants can work. And I'm glad to see a number of young civil servants of Assam also have been incorporated into this group that will be delivering the 2047 policy reform vision document. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the lovely presentation, sir. Now I would request Mr. Fahim Haq to felicitate all the distinguished speakers on the dais, starting off with Mr. Swapnil Paul, IAS Director, Department of IT, Electronics and Communications, DITEC, Government of Assam. Can we have a huge round of applause for this amazing panel? Okay, we'll start off with Mr. V. Srinivas, IAS Secretary, Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, Government of India. Next up, Shri Swapnil Paul, IAS Director, Department of IT, Electronics and Communication, DITCE, Government of Assam. Next up, Mr. Saurav K. Tiwari, IP and TA NFS, Joint Secretary, Direct Benefit Transfer Mission, Government of India. Mr. Sundar S., IFS Managing Director, Assam Electronics Development Corporation Limited, Government of Assam. Mr. NSN Murthy, Partner Government and Public Services Consulting Leader, Deloitte, India. Last but definitely not the least, Mr. Mayank Chaturvedi, Country Manager, Public Sector, Hewlett Packard Enterprises India Private Limited. Requesting all you gentlemen to please join us on the center stage so that we could have a group photograph.